and I don't know if it was Edgerrin Cooper or Quay Walker, but everything was downhill. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's the Micah Parsons effect. And it is. It's a big part of it. But the biggest positive for me is Rashawn Gary. You saw Rashawn Gary perform. Lucas Van Ness made a play. That stuff could happen without Micah. Do I think it would? No. So just the overall approach and the fact that this wasn't the sit back and let's see what happens. You took it to Detroit. You were on the attack the entire day. And it wasn't one level. It was all three. You saw my Steinhoffler make a big play because didn't just sit back and make a tackle. I went and made a play. And that was Micah beating the all-pro right tackle inside quick, made a quick throw. And lastly, what you did is you dictated play. Last year, it felt like Detroit dictated with running the football and play-action pass, and they could do their trickeration. It was all cute and fun. It can't be cute and fun when you're kicking Keister up front. And the fact that, and I saw this, Adam Schefter said this morning, I said it on Wisconsin's Morning News this morning, the tailback Gibbs caught 10 passes for 31 yards. That is a record for the least amount of yards with 10 catches in the history of this league. The history of the NFL. And what that tells you is, hey, this is what we will let you have, and we will take that away too. That's what that tells me, and that to me is the biggest positive. There's 100 other things I could go down, but dictation of what a really good offense is going to do, that's why I'm so bullish on where this team is.
Jesse, what was your biggest positive?
All the phone calls we're getting right now. I'm going to go offense. 10 different receivers caught a pass yesterday, or pass catchers caught a pass yesterday, which I thought was awesome. They were spreading the ball around well. At one point, Jordan Love, I think early in the game, had 8 different players he had thrown a completed pass to, and it was pretty early in the game when that had happened. So spreading the ball around, seeing Savion Williams and Matthew Golden, and obviously Tucker Kraft with the touchdown catch. But the way that the offense was so balanced in the passing attack, especially early on, and then when they needed to go ground and pound and run clock, they were able to do that successfully too later in the game. Offense as a whole was my general positive, and the hot start they got off to yesterday and the way they spread the ball around.
Yeah, Micah Parsons' sack at the end in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes left was great and all, and it was fun to watch the sideline and the stadium erupt. But my biggest positive is the more subtle ways that he impacted the game. And they weren't even that subtle. They just weren't stat line type plays, right? The pressure. I mean, he ate Penei Sewell's lunch. Like,
he did.
There's a chance that not only will Micah Parsons be a first-team All-Pro this season, but he also may help Zach Tom become one because he made one of the All-Pro right tackles not look like an All-Pro right tackle yesterday. So he has the pressure on Evan Williams' interception. He has a pressure on the sack that one of the 1.5 sacks that Rashawn Gary gets. He takes up 2 blockers on the half sack that Lucas Van Ness shares with Gary yesterday. He also takes up 2 blockers on that play where Colby Wooden knifes through and has the big stop up against the goal line. So to me, it's great. Obviously, you paid him $188 million to make plays, and he did. But I think it's also really interesting to see how that rising tide of him is lifting all the boats on defense. And again, they have to do it again in 3 more days because they're right back at it on Thursday. But I thought that was the biggest positive. All right, so we can get to your calls. Tausch, what is the one negative you were able to conjure up?
Traffic getting up to Lambeau was really bad. A lot of construction on 41. It sucked. Ended up having to do frontage roads. It blew. That's not my negative. My negative is the NFL's officiating on unsportsmanlike conduct. Because the one to Xavier McKinney, I said this after the Thursday night game, and I said, Packer fans, you ain't going to like it. Because you're going to be a defense that plays with an edge and is going to dictate, like we saw yesterday. You're going to see some flexity. You're going to see some emotion because that's what you want. Cut it out, NFL. All right, you made your point. Now, if you spit and if you're ripping helmets off, and throw the flag. It's a big boy sport. I want to see guys with passion that it matters. So, yes, I don't want throat slashing. I don't want any of that. There are taunts, and then there's blech. Let's get the blech out of it. I'm done with this emphasis. You can't make calls like that. I want that out. And it will. I don't want it to take 4 or 5 weeks. I don't want something to happen Thursday night that could be, change a game because they've emphasized this stupid rule. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my Tausch talk. Yeah, I actually was going to use that one too, and I'm a guy with both LaFleur and Xavier McKinney, and I appreciate Xavier acknowledging that I was right. Look, this is what they talked about. He flexed over the guy. He stood over him after he put him on his keister. And whether or not you agree...
Ball. That's ball.
Yeah, I agree. But Matt LaFleur lost his you-know-what over that call. I mean, he was still going after the officials multiple plays after that play had occurred, and he was being held back by Doug Collins, the security guy, and multiple others. He was irate. And what I would say, and he's right, it should have been offsetting, because after he does the standover Khalif Raymond for knocking him into next week, Khalif Raymond gets up and headbutts him in the face mask. So it should have been offsetting. I totally agree with Matt LaFleur. I also totally agree with you that this is nonsense. I understand that they're trying to get control of some of the behavior and that the trickle down to college and high school and peewees is what they're concerned about, because I do think that there's a lot more of that, having been to a few high school football games now this fall. And
I heard you've been covering it. Yeah, I heard that.
Not even laying on a picnic table during them. But that was nonsense. Like, it was not egregious. And the fact that, earlier in the game, and rightfully so, they also threw a flag because, was it Brian Branch who took Tucker Kraft's helmet off of his head and then threw it to the sideline? Yeah, that's a penalty. That's a penalty in any era. I didn't think what Xavier McKinney rose to the level of a penalty, except for with this emphasis that they're putting. Given what they're trying to do, if you saw it during the Eagles game, forget about the spitting incident with Jalen Carter. There were other multiple incidents where it seemed like ticky-tack, unsportsmanlike conduct, but they flagged it. Yeah. And that's what they're going to do, as Tausch talked about last week.
Yeah, for 2 or 3 more weeks they'll do it, and they'll be done.
Exactly.
Let's just get done with it now.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Jesse, I'm sorry, I didn't get to your negative. Was it traffic related too?
No, I was not up there yesterday. 4 of 10 on third down, and a lot of those conversions were
after
long.
4 for 4 and then 0 for 6.
So third down efficiency. Like, let's get some more first downs in those situations, extend some drives.
I feel like there was a lull, so I can see that criticism. But man, feels like a reach.
That's the kind of day we had yesterday. We like that.
You know what? I thought Homer made a really profound point on game night last night, which I'm not going to rip Homer because Homer's awesome on that show.
He is.
How awesome was it that at the end of the game, that cat makes an unbelievable catch? I don't even remember what wideout it was from Detroit.
Tesla?
Muskie? He makes this great catch, and everybody normally would be like, oh, but the fact that nobody even really cared because you were so dominant says everything about yesterday. Because that was a whale of a catch. That was a whale of a catch. And you're sitting, you don't even have to worry. You're not on pins and needles. Hey, whatever. Unless, I don't even know if gambling, if it played into it. I'm sure it probably did. But outside of that,
It did
that
not.
part of it also. It didn't on over-under? I would have thought
Nope.
it might have. What a deal. So that was, I thought, another really good point by Homer.
What a deal!